Create your legend. It's time to create your legend. This will be your ideal self-image that your mind targets as something to grow toward. Your legend is the same thing as your ideal self-image. Your legend is about you. Your legend tells the story of the kind of person you are at your core. Your legend is a recognition of the self you are becoming. Your legend is the self you will need to be in order to complete your purpose in life. Your legend is the way you need to see yourself in order to become who you really are and to express your truest self. Your legend is how you will start to see yourself from this point forward. What internal traits and qualities do you need to fulfill your purpose? What kind of person do you truly want to be? What kind of person would live your passions fully? What are the qualities you deeply desire to have? How would you like to see yourself if you had no limitations? Ask yourself these questions as you develop your legend. I usually write down 10 sentences or so and then whittle it down from there. I also make a list of words I want to include that resonate strongly with me and see if there's a way to work them in or combine them. It usually takes me about 7 to 10 tries to design a legend that speaks to me and that meets the criteria outlined below. Don't get frustrated by the process of creating your legend because it's a process that requires thought and a lot of editing. Remember that you can create a new legend anytime and that this one is not going to be permanent unless you want it to be. There is no pressure to create a perfect legend right now, but creating a legend that is beyond where you are now is hugely important. Also, it may appear that you are eliminating parts of yourself as you condense your legend, but what's really happening is the chiseling of your character that will allow your inner truth to come forward, much like the process of sculpting a Greek statue out of a block of marble. Does the sculptor get upset about the bits on the floor when he looks at his newly carved David? One helpful thing to keep in mind while you work through creating your legend is that if there's a quality you really want to have, you can find a way to make it part of your legend. You will not lose anything by making choices about the words you use and narrowing your focus. You will gain by having more clarity about who you are and the priority of your values than when you started. If you're not satisfied with the end result of creating your legend, think about what's missing and rework it until you love it. You'll be glad you did. As we replace your current self-image with your legend, remember that all of your emotions, thoughts, behaviors, and actions will flow from who you decide to become here. Completing this exercise will level up your personal power. Using the traits of your heroes, your passions, your deepest desires, and your talents, create a new self-image that excites and serves you. Here are the rules. Number 1, your legend must be 3 to 5 sentences or less. It should be easy to remember, in language that sounds like you, and it should excite you. You should feel really good about it when you say it. Number 2, your legend must be written in positive language. For example, you would say, "I am healthy," instead of "I have no diseases." Number 3, your legend must be in the present tense. For example, you'd say, "I'm helping 1 million people increase their self-worth," instead of "I will help 1 million people increase their self-worth." Number 4, your legend should be easy for your brain to understand. It should be very clear and specific. And number 5, your legend should be about you. It should be about the kind of person you're becoming. You can include markers that will indicate that your legend is coming to life. For example, "People seem to smile at me everywhere I go." But for the most part, it should be about who you are as a person. For example, "I am true to myself and non-judgmental of others." Here's my current legend as an example of what yours might sound like. I am awesome. I am an inspiring example of living from the inside out. I am true to myself and non-judgmental of others. I find it easy to attract the right people, opportunities, resources, money, and unique experiences for me. I'm making a huge positive impact, and I'm grateful for the abundance in my life. It's incredibly important to have a self-image that pulls you forward, but you can change that self-image anytime. Now, go write your legend and then come back. Now that you have your legend, if you want, email it to me at jim@jamesdwolf.com. I love seeing other people consciously transform their self-image. It makes me really happy. Now that you have your legend written down, how do you feel? Hopefully you feel the way I do about my legend. Once you have your legend written down, your mind has something specific to shoot for as you continue to grow as a person. Your legend is important because it will allow you to correct course anytime you veer off your path. It's likely that you will take detours many times on your way to self-actualization. Having something to target makes it much more likely that you'll get there. This is where most self-help gurus talk about having a map or GPS, but I'll spare you the metaphor. Just know that your legend is closer to who you really are than the person you think you are right now. The rest of your personal growth process will be focused on bringing your legend, your truest self, to life. Do not move forward until you have a clear, specific target to shoot for. This can and will change over time, but it's absolutely critical. Make sure you have a legend that feels right to you. Now that you've exposed another layer of your truest self, your legend, let's start making it real right now. You already took one step by writing it down. Now I just want you to visualize for a second what your life will look like 5 years from now when your legend fully comes to life. What do you look like? Who is around you? Where are you? What are you doing? What does it smell, look, feel, and sound like to operate from the new you? What does it taste like? What kind of person are you? If you were playing your legend in a movie right now, what would it be like to be that person? Really stop for a few moments and experience what it's actually like to be this next version of you. How does that feel? I can tell you that visualizing my legend makes me feel amazing. I hope yours does too. If not, go back and rewrite it until it's so true, so exciting, and so clear that you can taste it and it lights you on fire. I can already see you starting to become your new, more authentic self. It excites me as much as it excites you. Your old self is fading away so much that you hardly recognize it at this point. It's becoming nothing more than a fond memory of the way you got to this exact awesome place in your life right now. One of the things I do that I challenge you to do is to look yourself in the mirror and say your legend to yourself. I say mine every single day, once in the morning and once in the evening. Actively calling your legend to the front of your conscious awareness every day definitely impacts your daily actions, emotions, and decisions. A research team looked at the effects of this kind of attribute reinforcement in a study that involved trying to convince fifth graders to be more neat and clean. What they found is that the fifth graders who were repeatedly told things like, "You are neat and clean," or "You are one of the tidiest classes in the school," were significantly neater and cleaner than the ones who received lectures about why being neat and clean is important. The same researchers also found that verbally telling students how motivated and good at math they are improves their results compared to students who are merely persuaded to do well in math or who receive no attribution or persuasion at all. That's why repeating your legend to yourself is so important. Giving yourself attributes is more powerful in modifying your behavior than trying to convince yourself to change something logically. Again, your legend is an incredibly powerful lever if you choose to use it. I challenge you to say your legend to yourself in the mirror at least once per day for the next 30 days, no matter how strange it feels.